Happy Yom Ha'atzmaut and happy birthday, 73rd birthday to Israel. It's a beautiful, joyous day, one of the happiest days in the Jewish calendar. And it's so special for me that I get to celebrate this with so many in school. It's a day where we sing and dance and we bring out our barbecues and we thank God for the miracles of the state of Israel and what we have managed to achieve against all odds. So Yom Ha'atzmaut is a day which I look forward to celebrating every year. And like every other special day, it's a day in which we have to prepare for. Let's talk about that preparation for one moment. Because how do we prepare for important days in the Jewish calendar? Well, before Pesach, we're cleaning out our home and we go to the shop and we buy our matzah and all the other food that we need. And before Sukkot, I'm out in the back garden building a sukkah and we get a lot of an esrog. And before Hanukkah, I ensure I've got the right candles for the menorah, and I've got some dreidels and some latkes, everything we need. Before Purim, I'm worried about my costume. And so how do we prepare for Yom Ha'atzmaut? The answer is a little bit depressing. Because yesterday was a solemn day. Yom HaZikaron. The day before Yom Ha'atzmaut is always Yom HaZikaron. It's Israel's Memorial Day. That means we prepare for Yom Ha'atzmaut by commemorating the lives that we've lost in Israeli wars and due to terrorism. How does that work? Surely that doesn't sound like an appropriate preparation for the excitement of today. Especially for those who may have lost loved ones, the transition from yesterday to today can be very difficult. So the current Ashkenazi chief rabbi of Israel is Rabbi David Lau. His father is the legendary former chief rabbi who was a survivor of Buchenwald, and many of you may remember his visit to King David a few years ago. And Rabbi Lau answered in a word to this conundrum: appreciation. Appreciation. Yom Ha'atzmaut is not just a day to party, but it's a day when we say thank you. It's a day when we express our gratitude for the state of Israel. We thank God and we thank the country. And we start by acknowledging the price that we have paid to get here. As Jews, we've had it rough, really rough over the years. Last week on Yom HaShoah and yesterday on Yom HaZikaron, we acknowledge that loss and that price that we have paid. You know, we've just come out of a rather long lockdown and we've entered a new phase. And I look in the news and I'm watching how many people have gone shopping in the past couple of days, and they're just grateful for the ability to be able to do so. In the past, they wouldn't have stood there quietly, patiently, waiting outside Trafford Centre to get in. Who would ever have thought that we'd be so grateful for the ability to go shopping? But Rabbi Lau urges us that along with recognition and commemoration must come a challenge to improve ourselves even more. So here are 4 of Israel's greatest achievements and 4 suggestions of what we can do to make this world an even better place. Number 1, this year, 2021, Israel has been rated as the 12th happiest people in the world. Israelis, who would have guessed? Number 12. So let's figure out the secrets and ensure that we share that secret of happiness with other people, improving everybody's lives. Number 2, Israel is the only country in the world to have entered the 21st century with a net gain in its number of trees. It's also the only country with more trees today than the country had 50 years ago. So let's plant even more trees. And let's encourage people to plant their own food, kind of like the King David allotment. Number 3, Spain. Spain is number 2. Spain is the country that comes in second in the world for how much of its wastewater it recycles. It recycles 20% of its wastewater. But they're only beaten by one country, Israel. Israel recycles, wait for it, a whopping 90% of its wastewater. Israel has demonstrated these skills and shared it with Africa and other developing countries, and frankly, there's hardly room for improvement there, but we must share our knowledge. If we're doing something for the environment, let's ensure that we're sharing that with everybody. And lastly, number 4. In 2017, Israel was ranked the 8th safest country for women. So let's climb up that list. Let's become the very safest place for women in the world is to live in Israel. And let's teach other countries, including the UK, how to become a safer place for women. So happy birthday, Israel. We're so proud of you and all that you have achieved. We hope this is a wonderful year for you where you will go on to achieve even greater things.